I am an everyday athlete.
I am an everyday athlete.
I am an everyday athlete.
Good morning, everyone. This is Jarrett Bass with Mark McCain, and you are listening to Everyday Athlete, a podcast devoted to bringing you the amazing stories behind the lives of day-to-day CrossFit athletes like yourself. And today we have Martin Daly. Are you old enough for Martin yet? Is it still Marty?
Yeah, at work I go by Martin.
All right. Well, you're Marty.
Is that how you say your last name? Daly?
Daly, yeah.
Oh, no shit.
You've been saying it wrong the whole time, but
I'm saying Daly.
yeah, but it's okay. I get it a lot. So
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think very many people know this. Marty is the reason I do CrossFit. Do you know that, Mark?
News to me.
I think that's being generous. Maybe the first person that talked to you about CrossFit.
You were the one that introduced me to CrossFit. So it's been a downward spiral ever since. So
I feel like I remember doing trying to do handstand push-ups when you had a New Year's Eve party at that old apartment.
Yes.
I mean, that was...
Yeah, Mark, I'm sorry. There's going to be a lot of those stories.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear them.
The sad thing is now you can crush them, and I don't think I've made any progress since then.
So yeah, you were, I think that was way back when, right after college. So again, to fill everybody in, Marty and I were roommates in college, met at the Rogers dorm. I'm sure Marty has a good story about the first time he ever saw me. I'm pretty sure that's come up before.
Yeah.
Where's Rogers dorm at?
It's no longer.
Bowling Green. Yeah, it is no longer. Bowling Green.
They had to burn it down once we were
State
done.
University in Bowling Green, Ohio.
BG.
Yep.
Call.
Yeah.
Falcons.
They tore it down.
That'd been weird if it wasn't the Falcons. They're the Tigers.
We're the Crows. So Marty was living down in Louisville at the time, and I think I had kind of ventured into like the Monday, Wednesday, Friday urban active, that one out in Hyde Park where Mark and I met so long ago. And I think I was just kind of tired of it. And you had some running friends because you were running marathons and things or like running halves and things like that at the time.
Yeah.
So, and Marty, he kind of was like, hey, my friends have tried this CrossFit thing. And that was the old main site where it was just like the beige and white page.
Super fancy.
And I remember doing like Helen inside an Urban Active. The one, if you remember, the one upstairs, there was treadmills upstairs.
Yeah.
There was a TRX machine downstairs. So I would go upstairs, run 400 meters on the treadmill, go downstairs and do kettlebell swings with a dumbbell. And then like some really, I'm sure they were stellar pull-ups. So
You were the weird guy.
I
at
was
the
that
gym.
guy like, oh, what is that guy doing? So it's all this behind us is, and you and me in here, it's all for Marty to blame.
Marty.
You would have found it one way or another.
Yeah. So that's a little quick history. I'm sure there's much more behind it. But you are from, quote, the city of God, Defiance, Ohio.
I don't think anybody else calls it that
No,
except
just the
Yeah,
four friends that are going to listen to this.
Yeah.
Marty's from Defiance, and tell us a little bit about the family and everything.
Sure. Yeah. I guess, pretty much my whole family, they're teachers, except for my father. And then my sister works in Washington, D.C. at the Smithsonian. So it's kind of cool to hear Corolla talk about her museum stuff because it's a small community.
Yeah.
So anyways.
We might have crossed paths along the way at some point.
It's very likely.
Yeah.
It's very likely.
Yeah.
In any case, my grandfather, he always in athletics, right? So
He's kind of a local legend, correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, they have a track meet that's named after him. They have he was very involved with the college. So there's one that's named after him. His name's Richard Small, Dick Small.
No, I can't just let. Sorry.
That's what the building's called. That's true. Great man.
He's a good guy, I can tell.
He's solid. Tough dude. In thinking about fitness and stuff, I think I try to emulate him. I mean, he fought in the war, right? Pelé Lou, shot in the arm, Marine, tough guy.
These guys are just on a whole different level than Like people complain about low battery life on their cell phone.
Yeah,
This guy's
you
getting
can
shot in a
ask
war.
Lauren if you go to our Netflix queue. It's all World War II, Civil
Yeah.
War, and like Hitler and like documentaries and Civil World War One and like all of it. It's like that whole genre and an era of that time frame is unreal. So, anyways,
It's crazy. No, I definitely agree with you, Mark. It's a
Yeah.
different level. Yeah. So in the case, I moved down here, and I guess moved to Louisville, and then I just recently moved to Cincinnati.
Yeah, you were down in Louisville for quite some time, actually.
Yeah, like 10
basically
years.
since we graduated college until within the last year, or less than a year.
Yeah, I
Shoot.
started. It's first of the year, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. So less than a year. And I will definitely say that throughout us, again, kind of living together and things like that, Mario was always basically the athletic one, I would definitely say. I mean, always been a runner, always ultimate Frisbee. So that's a whole nother.
I'm good at
whole
weird things.
Yeah.
That have no value in life.
It's like the trivial pursuit of fitness, right? But no, Mario's always. And I remember a small conversation we had. I don't know when it was, but it was just like, "Oh, I'm running a half tomorrow." I'm like, "You been training for it?" I'm like, "No, just go run it." I was like, "What do you mean just go run it?" I was like, "What have you been doing?" He's like, "Nothing. You just get up and wake up and go run a
Non-training
half
training
marathon."
plan.
Yeah, I guess so. But it just goes to show that Mario's always been kind of athletic.
Well, I got to tell you though, man. I mean, since moving down here and seeing you in your element, I mean, you have just gone to a level that I didn't even know was possible. To be honest, I know, and you're a humble guy, so you're never going to admit that. But having not been close to you for a long time, and now kind of seeing you, every week, and the things that you can do, it's just amazing. And I'm sitting here thinking like, what have I been doing for the past 10 years ago? You know what I mean?
Well, thank you,
So-
thank you. And yeah, I'll accept that, thank you. But I again, it's always that thing where you're searching for, what can I better myself? And I think that's how you get there, to whatever level you're at. And again, you're the type of person that you kind of, when you move back up here with Catherine and the family, it was like we stopped in your day one, you're like, oh wow, I like this,
Yeah.
and that's what we start to see with a lot of the people who are either missing that competitive spirit because again, frankly, after high school or college or whatever you were doing and kind of your real life takes over, you start to lose that and you get into the day-to-day nitty-gritty of just work, family, home, work, and having this break here is huge for a lot of people, and that's been a through point for almost everybody we talk to.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I'd like to get into Marty, just like,
Yeah.
how did you, I know you mentioned like your grandpa kind of was an inspiration, but did you do sports in high school? Like, how did you kind of get involved with the marathons? Like, I feel like we jumped ahead a little bit. Like, talk us through how you became so passionate about maybe some fitness.
Yeah, I did cross country in high school, did track, pole vault, hurdles, 400. Again, pole vault, weird sports. I'm good at weird sports that you never get to do really on a day-to-day basis.
I can
you guys
jump
need to get
large,
a pit in here.
Yeah, I can jump large. There is a 8-foot hole down there. We can just fill it in.
You
And
might
large
hit
enough,
the lights though whenever you.
large enough ceilings. I don't know. It's pretty big back
It'll
there.
be close.
Yeah.
And I was all right in high school. Not great, decent enough to fill the roster. Right. And then, I was going to do track at Bowling Green, but then Title IX hit and they dropped men's track to equal men's and women's sports or whatever. So that's how I ended up in ultimate Frisbee. Just because I was like, well, I can't
do
really do
something?
anything else. I can't play soccer.
What is ultimate Frisbee?
It's I don't know how to describe it other than it's like Frisbee football, right? Like you're trying to throw the disc to somebody in the end
Right.
zone. To score.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've even seen them played on certain football fields. I mean, it's kind of the same. It's
It's
shorter.
big in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we actually drove down here from Bowling Green back to Cincinnati for that one tournament.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were the only spectators. The whole thing.
Oh my gosh,
We had-
you guys were so rowdy
We
too.
had signs. We were yelling.
Was this at OU? Was that the Halloween tournament?
No, we drove to Cincinnati.
Oh.
Yeah, Mike and
Oh, okay,
it was
yeah.
when we all lived in Rogers, and Mike and I can't remember his name now, but he lived down the hall from
Was
us.
it signs?
Yeah, had signs, bear hucking and things like that.
yeah.
Was it just like a regular season game, or was it actually like a tournament?
I think it
or
was a
something?
tournament.
Yeah, it would have
Okay.
been a tournament.
Yeah. But anyways, needless to say, there's nothing but teams there kind of cheering each other on, and then there's like the 7 of us,
Right.
basically drunk in a field.
It sounds like you guys had some fun in college. Maybe you can share some stories
Oh, man.
about maybe some not as incriminating stories about.
I'll tell you what. I mean, I got to bring it up just because it happened today. On Jarrett's Facebook wall, there's a picture of him in a costume he made, which is
I'll put it up.
Cookie
I'll put it
Monster.
up too, yeah.
And,
I sewed it myself.
You'd like this one, Mark. You
I feel like
would
I've seen the
this
Cookie
picture.
Monster one, but maybe not this photo.
But you know, like Jarrett always did cool stuff in college. Like if we had like a party or somebody's birthday, he'd print off these giant murals that you'd put on the wall of something that kind of related to you. You know, hit the mixing box. I don't know what you call that thing. Is from
DJ.
You DJs the party
DJ all the
stuff.
parties.
What was your DJ name?
JB Jelly was on the mug.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you guys. They started calling me that, and I don't know why.
This is
That
amazing.
came from that tournament. It came from the tournament.
It did, man.
That ultimate frisbee tournament. That's where it started, and I don't know why. And then that just carried on for.
It was probably like a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Just the game changed.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Mark.
Great now for the end of time.
I think all of our listeners. I think you owe it to the listeners just to keep going with this.
Oh God.
I don't know what I mean. Like you'd always make your own Halloween costumes, and it'd just be kind of. I mean, we could go on for days about stupid stories. I mean, he made these awesome cornhole boards. He'd play like cornhole like crazy.
Yep. The wallpapered the house with wrapping paper for our Christmas party. So literally every single room in the house was head or floor to ceiling with wrapping paper. That was fun. Made an ice luge out of a recycling bin.
Yeah.
So he was the resourceful one.
Yeah.
To put it
He
politely.
just made everything fun.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just like normal stuff.
Are we allowed to talk about your knee?
Sure. If you can talk about yours.
All right. Yeah, we can do that. All right. So let's see. Marty, this is right after we first met, and apparently I was the hard ass.
Oh yeah, when I met Jarrett on campus, man, he had his headphones in. He was all like,
Yeah.
like from Cincinnati, hard, tough. I was like, I'm not gonna like that guy.
Yeah.
It's weird that we've always.
It's
got
weird.
along.
I had that same first impression. Man,
Seriously?
I'm not gonna like this guy.
Yeah.
And then he moved in. And then he ended up being like across the hall from us.
We ended up moving in across the hall from each other in Rogers. You moved in with Bear, Steven.
Yeah.
Steve.
Steve, the furnace, shout out to you.
Yeah. And I was with Jason, who Jason just had his 3rd kid, so they now have
Congrats,
3.
Jason.
Yep.
I miss you.
And
Anyway.
so we met and we lived across the hall from each other, and Marty went out for a night of debauchery.
Let's back up a little bit though. But how we like ended up becoming friends, because I was like, I'm not gonna talk to him. He seems like a jerk. He like, you knocked on our door and you're like, we want to make bunk beds for more activities. Can you help move? And I think we've been friends ever since.
Yeah. Yeah.
Step brothers.
Yeah, total
Good.
step brothers.
So Marty went out for a night of debauchery and came back with.
I didn't even want to go out that night, by the way. It was Bear. I was like, I'm staying in. Bear's like, no, you gotta come on, man. It's gonna be an awesome party. Sorry, Bear, you don't sound like that.
Just how I hear you in my head.
Ooh, that was rough.
Yeah. And
I'm just bitter from the night.
Marty
Yeah.
came back with basically a melon on his knee. He came back, it was just swollen and hurt.
Yeah. Long story short, we were outside. Some police came. Very nice gentleman. The person I was with started running, so I started running. And
You thought you were back on the the track.
Marty
It's
just
a race.
Maglite
right to the
knee.
kneecap.
And
Ooh.
It was like a foot of snow, though.
Marty
to be
got
fair.
taken down and came back wounded, had his ticket in hand for like $180 of, basically not doing what he's supposed to do.
Just
kind
a
of thing.
citation, right? For
Yep. So
being an idiot.
Wow.
we put Marty in a computer chair and we wheeled him down the hall with like a coffee can and basically collected like $180 and change that night
Because I could not pay for it.
for his ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of the blossoming of the friendship.
That's wow. You guys might have a book in your future.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Flash
good.
forward a few years. Jarrett I'm coming home. Jarrett standing in our backyard, a little distraught. How many days till you turn 21?
It was 6 days prior,
6 days.
I believe.
And he stepped off of our grass for maybe a millisecond.
Had a phone call from from a girlfriend and or ex-girlfriend at the time, and I took the phone call. And our side yard was slanted about 45 degrees, so you couldn't really walk on the grass. So I walked around the back of the house with a cup in my hand, and literally as I step on the sidewalk and go to the backyard to take the phone call, a police cruiser pulls up and asks me for my ID, and I was on not our property.
Man, BG police did not play.
Oh, he was a
serious.
townie cap. He told me how amazing he was in college when he was there and the epic parties.
He was a legend.
Yeah, and he was basically a legend around these parts, and then proceeded to give me a ticket 6 days prior to my 21st birthday.
That's dick move.
So yeah. So Marty came. I walked back in, probably the saddest I've ever looked.
What's going on, buddy?
And
having a tough day?
I just held it up, and Marty said, "Party's over." I said, "Party's over," and he made everybody leave.
Oh, really?
Get out.
I thought you were gonna say you put you in a chair and wheeled you around the party and tried to collect money.
Collect money, yeah. That was a little bit more money.
They're
than
on
that.
to us.
Anyways, flash forward, we're completely different people today.
Yeah, we are responsible humans.
Well, we all had those
Yeah.
college days. And as you guys were saying that, I remembered of a college party I went to with this one gentleman. I left before him, and we were, what was it, Harry Buffalo party?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Do you
sure.
remember what those are? Anyway, it was winter in Cincinnati, so it was a little icy out, and supposedly he was leaving the party. It was on a second floor of a house, comes down all the steps, like makes it down like 38 steps, no problem. The last 2 to get down to the sidewalk to the street, sheet of ice, lands face first. He gets back to our dorms, looks like someone from The Walking Dead. I mean, I've never,
A White Walker.
I mean, I thought like we're gonna have to take him to the ER, but he's like, don't do it, I don't have insurance. So he like slept it off, but woke up the next day and he had no recollection of it, and it was a sight to be seen. Everyone
Yeah.
was taking photos.
I'm sure we're bringing a lot of people back who are actually listening. They're probably like, well, what about my story? I do. So you've kind of we'll go a little bit more forward past some of the college stuff because we could make a whole podcast.
Yeah, we
on
could.
just
Sure.
that. But
So then I started running marathons just because I wanted something way to stay fit. That's how I got into marathoning.
So you were like, I need a solution for fitness. So you're, with your background, hey, I can run. That's what I want to do.
Exactly. And like during work, like I could run with some buddies at lunch.
yeah, I think that was literally how we got on the topic of CrossFit originally. You're like, hey, these guys I work with, that we run all the time together. This is what they do for some extra kind of fitness. And I remember just falling in love immediately because again, you
That was like what, 2010?
it was
2009.
2009, 2008, I think.
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
it would have
early,
been.
That's early days.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it's almost been 10 years of from the first time I ever really tried a CrossFit workout by myself. And the cool thing was again, I think at the time I was following like you get your Men's Health subscription, and you get Ab Blaster workout, and you're following this.
At that same Urban Active you talked about, there was a big room upstairs, just
Yep.
like wooden floor where
Yep.
they would do the classes.
Yep.
I would go in there, me and Eric, we would go in there and do like basically like the Insanity, like kind of like whatever they had for their core kind of workouts and stuff like that. We would go in that room for a couple days a week and just kind of hit it in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people want to do stuff that's different, ultimately. Yeah. So
that was the exciting part for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome where you just, and the intensity probably wasn't even there, but it was just something that felt different, and I will definitely say I started following kind of the main site. I would check the main site, but I'd be hitting that back button, searching for something that I could do. I'm like, what the hell? Why am I going to do 7x7 deadlift? Like,
Right.
No, I can do that anytime. I want CrossFit. But as it's evolved and as we start to learn, you're like, oh, that is actually CrossFit. It is a strength and conditioning program. It's not just always that kind of boot camp style, kick my ass and, I feel like I'm going to die at the end of every day.
That was today though.
Yeah, that was today.
Thanks,
It does come with time.
Still sweating.
So obviously you got away from it because did you continue to run, within the last couple of years?
No, man, it's the last marathon I did was Asheville, North Carolina. Asheville. Where is that? Asheville.
That's North Carolina.
Is it North Carolina?
Yeah.
At the Biltmore had their first, and I ran it with buddy Wes Morris. Anyways, man, I thought it was south, so it was gonna be warm. It was negative weather. It broke my soul. I only race I ever walked. I hurt myself, and I never recovered. And I think before I moved up here, I was kind of texting you like, this was probably 2 years where my hamstring just never got the same. I was like, and Jarrett's like, I can fix that. Why don't you come in? And I'm like, and yeah, with just a couple of things and some strengthening, it really helped. So I stopped pretty much just because I did so much running. That's all I did. I didn't have a full.
Yeah, you were specialized.
Yeah,
kind of running.
Yeah, and we're seeing more and more that that specialized sport is it's starts to become negative returns. If you're specializing in just one thing, you have to broaden that spectrum. You see it with Mark trains Nick and Sal, and they play baseball. But
we don't.
They're not training for baseball in here.
Yeah, we're strength and conditioning.
Yeah, exactly.
Ultimately, the coaches should be able to coach them up on their sport specific skills and drills. We'll do stuff for coordination in season, off season. They're out of season right now, so we're lifting a lot more weights. We're not doing as much. They're baseball players. Their conditioning doesn't necessarily need to be phenomenal, but their conditioning, they need to have a baseline of conditioning to be able to actually strengthen condition.
Yeah.
If you're, you look at some of maybe the power lifters on some extreme, maybe not the ones that are professionally coached and stuff, but some people think powerlifting is like, I'm going to do one set and then I'm going to rest for 10 minutes, and they get their aerobic capacity so low that, if they would just spend a little bit of time in the aerobic state, that the anaerobic would be so much faster as far as you can do more sets and more reps.
Oh, I just watched it was, I think, Blue Jays the other night, and the guy stretched out for about 15-foot leap to catch a ball. Don't tell me he's not.
That was awesome.
Don't tell me he's not conditioned.
That was awesome.
And to Mark's point is we've had we've had the opportunity to have some high school teams in here, and Nick and Sal were, I don't even think they were in high school at that point.
I've had them since 7th grade. Now they're sophomores. And
cool, we've had
Sal's probably about, I don't know, how much you think Sal weighs? Like
130, 135.
130. He can deadlift 225 for sets of 5. It doesn't even seem possible. Some of the stuff that he's doing. And from 7th grade to almost freshman year, first almost 2 years I had him, we wouldn't really even touch weights. Yeah. It was just all body weight, isometric, handstand holds, all that, building that through line of fitness. And it was really their parents kind of trusted me to be like, hey, I want to continuously bring them here. Because a lot of people, if you start them down that road of like, hey, I have all these weights here, but guess what? We're just going to work on ladder drills and get your coordination up and, hit high intensity stuff. You can always have high intensity without weights and so on and so forth. But really just getting them to a point where they can move properly before loading them, especially at an early age. And then now that they're kind of getting through some changes in their body, you can start to load some weights.
But to Mark's point, or again to basically his training, and the stick-to-itiveness of these two guys is we had a high school team come in here, and they're kind of they're hot shots on the team. And Nick and Sal came in, and Mark put them through the same workout. And we're talking, these kids are 8th grade, and these other kids are juniors and stuff like that in high school, and they are smoking them.
That's cool, Mark.
Yeah. Well, smoking them, at the workouts for sure, but just like in ladder drills,
the coordination,
like 2 feet in, 2 feet out on the ladder. High school kids, they're tripping over their own feet and so on and so forth. And again, obviously they progressed, and by the end of the camp and stuff, everyone's fitness was fairly close, but Sal and Nick still had that amazing just baseline.
Yeah, it was just really cool to see, and it just goes to show that, CrossFit, whatever you want to call it, just a base strength conditioning can be such a huge gain in whatever sport you're going to play.
Yeah.
You see those high-end athletes, you put them in. We just watched the Mayweather-McGregor fight. MMA and boxing are in the same realm, but they are different sports. But you watched a guy at the top of his game last 10 rounds against one of the best fighters of all time.
With 3 months to prepare, basically.
Yeah. So, it's like, guarantee you he's got a strong baseline.
I think that fills over to Marty as well. Like you just talked about with all that running and stuff. Granted, like you said, hey, I had an injury. I had to step back for a little bit. I didn't really feel like I was there. Even then, I've seen some tremendous progress with you, and starting with CrossFit. and anytime we do run, I mean, you're one of the best ones there. And it's not like, like you said, you've been dedicating a lot of time, but you've just built up such a baseline to where now you're like, it's kind of like for myself or even for Jarrett, like we all still have our movements where anytime that comes up in a workout, whether I've been specializing and training that specific movement, we're just like, yeah, I want to see that. So, and it's probably some history there. So to say, like, I know Jarrett's really good at double unders. Like anytime they come up in a workout, it's like, oh, watch out. It's not like he spends a bunch of time training those every day. It's just like he's built up such a good kind of regimen with that. For you running, for me, some of the like deadlifts, stuff like that. But there's something to be said about setting expectations whenever people start at a gym. And for you, I don't know what you were expecting. What did you expect to happen whenever you started here?
Honestly, I moved up here, and I think originally I signed up for like a 3-month membership. I wanted to support you in your gym. Yeah. And I'd been to your last gym before years ago, and I think you guys talked about it before. It's just a completely different gym, right? And I was, even though I was familiar with CrossFit, I was still kind of intimidated by it, and I didn't really know what was going on here. So, and like, I've been really focused on work, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have the time to get that in or whatever. Anyways, I think it didn't take long before you realized what this gym is, and a lot of these podcasts have talked about it, so I don't need to rehash all that, but it just blew away my expectations, and made it something that I wanted to do.
I got a text message from Marty, and he's like, sign me up for a year. And it's awesome to see that, not just as a friend, but just from anybody, where it's like, okay, I get it. Because there is that, it doesn't matter what it is, you're starting something new, whether it's, subscribing to something online, you want to have this like kind of trial period to figure out like what exactly is going on. But then, once you get into it, you're like, oh, I see. And it just becomes a part of your life, and it's such a great and amazing group of people that come together every single day. And you're usually at that 6:30 a.m. time slot, which is a whole nother world. They're a bunch of weirdos, but you came to the 9:30 a.m. class today, and even from class to class, you see this different dynamic, but it's so personal. And you see this group of people that basically kind of hangs out together almost every single day. At a minimum 3 to 4 times a week. So I just love seeing that, and see the group of people come together that would, again, say it all the time, that would never, ever, ever hang out together outside of these walls, But then we're going to do something on Friday, and we probably all go bowling together. It's like now we have a whole new group of friends to hang out with.
Which is nice. Yeah. Especially coming up from Louisville, where I don't really know anybody here. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. We get that a lot. People moving from all different parts of the country, and they come here, and, it's such an easy and accessible way to basically make new friends.
Oh yeah.
I did want to mention, I'm still pretty much a newbie here too. I think I started in January. I looked up on Wodify, 71 sessions. I'm in 72 today.
Nice.
So I'm still pretty new to all this. So, in terms of the other people you've had kind of talk through, I'm definitely probably the shortest time in the mix.
Which is cool, because it's a different perspective too. I want to take a very short break. I want to come back, and I want to talk about basically what it's like to be that new person versus someone who's maybe been here for 3 years.
Right on.
We'll be right back.
Dally? Am I saying that right?
Nailed it.
Dally.
What's up, guys? Coach Jarrett here talking to you about 2 great events coming up. First one is the 2017 Triumph Masters. So this is our 4th year doing this one. It's going to be a great day. We have ages 35 to 44 RX and scale divisions, and then 45 and up RX and scale divisions. Some awesome prizes. We've got Rock Tape sponsoring, I believe, Box Gains. We've got Fit Aid. We've got Formula 2. We've got IntelliRoll. So a whole bunch of different prize packs coming out for that. It's going to be an awesome day. If you want to get signed up for that, it's 2017masters.eventzilla.net. You can kind of check that link below there. Additionally, on October 7th at Braxton Brewing Company down in Covington, we're going to be holding our kegs and kilos meet. It's going to basically be from 10 till 3 or 4 in the afternoon, all day. Tap room is going to be awesome. Platform in the middle of the room. It's going to be an awesome, awesome, awesome day. We just found out that Usaka is going to be the equipment sponsor for them, so they are also the ones in charge of, they're going to be the equipment sponsor for the 2020 Tokyo Games. So you can check them out, the link below. If you want to sign up for that, it's going to be kegsandkilos.eventzilla.net. If you have any questions, just give us a shout and we'll make sure we answer them. Thanks. All right, and we are back. We're here with Martin Dowley on the Everyday Athlete podcast. We kind of left talking a little bit about how Marty's kind of one of the newer kind of members that we've had on the podcast. I want to talk a little bit about what that was like, kind of starting basically from then until now. And it's kind of one of the I don't want to say canned questions that we ask, but I'm always interested to see, like, what would you say to someone who's just starting out, being in your shoes you were at, where you're like, I was very intimidated, and you've been in athletics all your life. So we get people in here who have been sedentary for 10, 15 years, and they've never maybe even thought about doing something like this. What would your advice be to someone like them?
Yeah, I just drill home something you guys talked about, and I think it's something you just have to keep saying over and over again. It's just, I think everyone here knows that it's hard and it's difficult and it's intimidating, and they've all been in those shoes, and nobody cares if you're lifting heavy weights. They realize effort, and effort is recognized, whatever that is for you. And so I think it's just, I think you have to know this is like a safe place to go, where you are not going to be judged by your fitness level or any other than just showing up and trying hard, and that's all it is.
Yeah, I love what you just said there.
I love it.
The effort is recognized because, to what degree you're going to be doing this workout today. I mean, today's workout's a perfect example. We're doing really tough 4 rounds, even an 8-minute clock, and you're just working through these rounds as we go. And it's very mentally taxing. And the class that I taught this morning in particular, I think almost every single person in that room was doing a different version or variation of that workout. And it's not that anyone was working less than someone else. Mm-hmm. They're all, doubled over at the end of the workout, tired and things like that. But it's at what degree and to their own ability. And we stress that all the time. Toes to bar is a great one. Masters coming up, toes to bar is one where it's a really tough movement to do a lot of, And whenever they come up in class, what is the highest degree in which you can do that safely and at the highest intensity? And finding that is huge for people. If we can get people to recognize that I'm here right now, okay, what's my goal? This level, and then this level. And that just goes back to timely goal setting. By 6 months from now, I want to do this, and these are the steps I'm going to take to get there. Well,
then it's just to stick to it, sticking to it and being consistent with it. And I think that overflows in other parts of life whenever you think like, hey, you're judged by your effort, not by how much, weight you can lift. And I feel like if anyone is, working at a place or, the whole like, hey, would you rather work with, this person over here that's just like a natural and everything just comes, super easy to, or this person that's figured out all the steps because they've put in a ton of effort in their job to learn all the nuances, as opposed to just they snap their fingers and everything's fixed. So I feel like a lot of our people, their effort in here overflows in the life, and we're super fortunate to be able to facilitate it. But it's definitely a bunch of like-minded people, and that's one thing I can never really express to people until they actually come in and experience the classes. Yeah,
I know, especially with intros or fundamentals classes, or talking to somebody on the phone, they're like, well, like if you ask like what's the defining thing, it's like Mark says, you just got to come and see it, and you may not even get it till a week or a month in, but there's something about just seeing everybody rally around the person that's struggling the most.
Yeah.
You just don't see it anywhere else. You don't see it in any pro sports, or anything like that, but you do see it at our top level. Even at the games at that point, was it 0.0012%, at the top level of those athletes, even if someone's struggling, you'll see a person who just finished first place come back around and cheer that guy on. It doesn't happen anywhere else. It's unreal.
And that means a lot to me personally a lot of times this is the only part of your day where somebody is rooting for you, right?
everybody else trying to kick you down.
I know.
Like life in
Yeah.
general, life in general is just trying to beat you down, and for whatever reason within these walls, in a lot of CrossFit, I'm not saying it's just us. It happens all over the country, but someone is just rooting for you and truly, caring for your well-being. It's like, wow, that's refreshing.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is. So you moved up here for kind of a new job, right? Because you were in a different kind of field, correct? Down in Louisville.
Well, yeah, I was I've always been like in finance / consulting. So that's I'm still in the same realm, but different industries, healthcare, and now I'm in the candy world, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I support a business our business that's out of Canada.
Yeah. So do you see, because we talked a little bit with Chris Dreyer about this, and when he kind of changed jobs, and have you noticed a difference in, I don't want to say well-being, but we see people who are unhappy with the job, and it makes this time here almost more stressful. Do you see any correlation between your daily life coming in here?
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out.
I know where
best
you're
way to say
going. It has, in terms of like, I feel like I'm not the most talented person in a lot of ways, but just through pure effort, I can compete. Like you guys know that. But
Yeah.
And so like for work, I was always the first one in, the last one out because that's what I thought I had to do.
Yeah.
And I always had the excuse, well, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to do the hour CrossFit class. So now I prioritize that, and I still get my work done. I'm
Right.
still acknowledged for having a good product. And it's just, you just have to take charge of your life. I think that's what I've finally done, is taking charge of my life and put this as a priority. And shout out to my wife, who watches, our 2-year-old in the morning so that I can go to the gym, having a good support system at home. I mean, I couldn't do this without her. So that's what's changed for me, job wise, is just being confident in myself that I can do both.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, because that's having those priorities set is huge, and it really comes down to like, oh, I can fit this into a busy schedule. And again, it does come into
Yeah.
play with your network that you're relying on to kind of help you do said thing. But it doesn't matter what it is. I could have been here at the 5:30 class,
Yeah.
and I could coach at 6:30, but I said, no, I'm going to take that extra hour of sleep. Sometimes you need it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just pure, I don't want to go in, but I think when you make it that priority and you make it a lifestyle choice, then you get to see those little, getting up that extra hour earlier, getting up that 15 minutes earlier, not hitting that snooze button. It doesn't seem like anything, at the time being. And it's way easier to make that other decision, that hitting that snooze button or having that little extra piece of cake, whatever it may be. But 2, 5, 10 years down the road, and people go, oh, you just do everything so natural to you. Like everything comes. No, it was those very small choices along the way. And it's something that even in all of our dumb college adventures, it's something I've always noticed about you. I'd be in the room blaring music, Marty come over, knock on the door, and ask to turn some music down because he's studying. And those are the choices that he made a long time ago that has gotten him to where he is today. And it's always just been impressive to see.
Thanks, man.
I think it's in everybody, ultimately it's just doing it, I love it, as you said, taking control of your life. And I think one of the things that, we're living through this revolution of social media right now. And this, if someone found this podcast on iTunes, there's, I don't know, 20,000 different choices or whatever. That could be way more. Anyway, there's a lot of choices out there. There's a lot of choices for fitness. But I think and then within those fitness programs, there's a lot of different programs, whether it's how you're programming your CrossFit workouts, so on and so forth. We, switch it every day, obviously. Every day is something different. There's something to be said about making a decision and then going after it. So like you made a decision like, hey, I'm going to make this a priority. And then you didn't like half-ass it. You like went after it, and you had communication with your wife that like, hey, look, this is something I want to do. Do you support it? And she supported your decision. You made it, and now you're reaping the benefits of, having a healthier life and longevity. So I feel like just so many people get caught up in just not making a decision. And then even when they do that, it's like, well, I don't know.
This is harder than I thought it was.
Yeah, I was talking to Jarrett about it earlier. It's like looking for a house right now. It's like back in the day, you might have had like 3 choices that you could actually see.
Because you were driving around.
Exactly.
Right.
And
that was for sale.
yeah, exactly. So now it's almost overwhelming. I mean, with all the different, there's 10 different websites to look at houses, and granted, there's a lot of them that are on each one, but anyway, it's just making the decision and then sticking to it. And I feel like there's so many people get caught up in, they're afraid to make the wrong decision, so they never never decide.
Well, the other side of that too is make a decision and then switching decisions, because they haven't seen these instant results, or they haven't. Again, it goes back to the kind of instant gratification thing that everyone's kind of used to. We can Google and figure out any answer that we want right now, and whereas we used to have to remember Encyclopedia Britannica. That was where you went and got answers. Those. Yeah, but
shout out Dad.
But for real easy one is it's like we see people. It's a lot where it's like, I'm doing this programming now. It didn't work. I'm gonna switch to this programming. I'm gonna switch to this programming, or diets or whatever you want to call it. How to lose weight is, if you want to lose weight, you're at a calorie deficit for a long period of time. If you want to gain weight, you're at a calorie surplus for a long period of time. If you want to get stronger, you do the big 3 for a year straight. But people can't see, don't have that broad spectrum of how to actually. I can't see myself from day 1 to day 365. I see myself from day 1 to day 30. Well, it didn't work. So it's a huge, I don't want to say problem, but it's a problem. It is a problem.
It's a problem.
But it's one that we battle, and I tell people all the time, like, I'm in this for the long game. If why I was excited about when you said, like, I want to join basically permanently instead of this 3-month contract, and it's like awesome because I'm playing the long game. And you're at this point you're playing for your family, you're playing for your daughter, you're playing for your wife, and it's not just like Marty's trying to get a 6-pack. Yeah, which. It wouldn't be it's not hard for Marty to do. Just get a flex.
I just want to kind of dig in that a little further. I mean, and I'm not an everyday guy. I don't want anybody to think that I'm in here every day. When I started out, I could get in here a couple days, and you just kind of slowly tweak your life to make it in and try to get it in some more. And the key thing is you're going to fall off the track. You're going to fall away from your goal because things are going to get busy. It's just getting back on to that. All right, I made this commitment. I've fallen off track. I'm going to give myself some grace here and say, hey, all I can do is try to get back into the swing of things.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's important to, kind of like you just said there, especially when it comes to fitness. And I know, unfairly biased just because, obviously this is a profession I've chose, so I know a little bit about just how to form workouts or whatever. But having a plan B. So it's like, one of the things we try to do here is eliminate excuses. So we have our 15-minute trainers, so on and so forth. And when, maybe you can't make it to the gym for, let's just say, a week straight. What did you do physical in that week? Especially if you're traveling, sleeping in a hotel. You don't need much room to do 5 minutes of burpees. It's just wanting to do that and prioritizing, like, hey, you know what? And again, is it choosing to see the negative? Like, oh, I don't have, at Triumph, they're doing power cleans and, pull-ups. I don't have a pull-up bar. I don't have a barbell. That doesn't matter. Like, get your heart rate up, or, hold a max effort plank or max effort handstand. So it's having the backup plan. So it's just having a plan in place. And I get it. People are busy. One guy just started, he's as busy as they come, but he says, every time that I take my son to soccer practice, he's like, I can only probably come 2-3 days a week. And I said, that's a start. We'll get you to 4 or 5. Because kind of like you said, you're going to eventually find out ways to do it. But even when he's not here, he's like, every time I take my son to soccer practice, I'll go, they have a hill there. I'll do some hill sprints. And I'm like, that's awesome, man. So here's what I want you to do a hill sprint and then hit some burpees at the top. He's like, I don't want to do that. I was like, well, I know you don't want to do it, but it's going to make you better, and it's not going to just like, you're not going to just be in one kind of mono kind of structural type movement the whole time.
Yeah.
You can vary it up. So it's just really having a plan B. I feel like, because again, you can have this perfect plan for 365 days of fitness. Inevitably, stuff's got to come up. Whether it's an injury or a family or whatever it is, it's got to come up. Like, what are you doing? Like, hopefully, through an investment in your fitness through us, you're actually learning stuff to kind of do on your own. Or, by the way, as we just mentioned, Google, YouTube. I mean, it's a powerful thing if you use it correctly, as opposed to just, I'm going to sit
as
on
a distraction.
YouTube.
Yeah.
It can either work for you
it's
or
a rabbit
against
hole.
you.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole if you let it. So, no, it's fantastic.
I'm watching top 10 everything.
Yeah. Top 10 knockouts to top 10 cakes. It was weird. It's a weird rabbit hole to go down. So I know we've got to kind of wrap things up here shortly. We always like to end with a pretty broad question, and we've gotten all different types of answers, and I just love to hear where their mind kind of goes. And so we always wonder, what is your definition of fitness?
I think it's a mindset, and I kind of bring it back to my grandfather. Started out, I mean, that was his whole life. He was like I said, coach track, everything, and even to like the last days, where he's like doing breathing treatments, he made a game out of that. Right. So I think it's just through your life, you have to just kind of adopt fitness needs to be part of my life in some kind of way. And I'm going to be at different levels of that throughout my life. And, even, to the last, it's always going to be important. And so I think it's just a mindset of that.
Yeah. Way more, it's just as much mental as it is physical.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, awesome, Marty. I really do appreciate you coming on, and I'm sure you'll now get questions more about the fact that everybody knows that we were living together, and you have a lot of dirt on me, so we'll get everybody your email, and you can send out email blasts.
Is there 2 L's?
Silent J.
Dally.
Awesome.
Thank you guys. This is great.
Yeah. Thanks you for
Marty.
listening to Everyday Athlete. Join us next week as we dive deep into the lives of the people who make us great. Thanks again.